Julie Clark in her beautiful T-34, taxiing out just in front of the announcer stand here, sponsored by Chevron, that beautiful silver T-34, an aircraft that was used for quite a bit of pilot training in the United States Air Force as well as the United States Navy. The Navy is currently still using the T-34 turbine version of this aircraft. Julie Clark, an amazing young lady. And wait till you see her fly the T-34 Mentor, made by Beechcraft. Very, very patriotic in that beautiful silver and blue. It says United States Air Force along the side of the Chevron T-34 Mentor. Turn it all the way down. High above, Josh Wilson in the Yak-50, the Yakovlev Yak-50. Originally a Russian engine in this Yakovlev, or Yak-50. Turns the opposite direction from engines in the United States. Powerful engine in this Yak-50. As he hammerheads it right up at the top there, the British called it the stall turn. Running up there until you run completely out of airspeed, then stop on that rudder, the right rudder in the direction that this propeller turns, the left rudder in U.S. airplanes. They handle the torque of the engine and let it help you around the corner there on the stall turn. Great climbing power in these Yak aircraft. You'll see another one a little bit later on in the Yak 9, flown by Sean Carroll of Ocean City, Maryland. But this is Josh Wilson, Yak-50. A lot of power in this aircraft, and the power-to-weight ratio rates very, very high, giving it the ability to make those wonderful vertical maneuvers here at Dover. Inverted negative G's this time, trying to throw him outside of the cockpit, strapped in there with a 5-point harness in addition to his parachute. Those negative G's putting the eyeballs way out. Pilots coming a lot lower than Josh Wilson. Josh has a 500-foot waiver at this time, authorized by the FAA and determined by a ICAS ACE examiner. And once he gets a little more experience and a few more air shows under his belt, he can lower that down and eventually down to a ground level waiver. Right now he's limited to 500 feet. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that he's flying this Yak-50 so beautifully up there. Torque roll at the top of that climb, rolls it back to the upright, and then points it on the 45 down line. Coming right back to show center. This is a tail dragger aircraft. Main gear and then a smaller wheel in the tail, underneath the tail of the aircraft. Much more difficult in crosswinds to handle. The roll rate of the Yak-50 there is pretty impressive. Center of gravity on the ground tends to be behind the cockpit, therefore makes it quite a handful to handle on a crosswind. Smoke comes on and we go up right at show center now. Climbing high into the sky over Dover. Very, very slow over the top. Lets it float to round out that old barnstormer's loop. And exiting out show right. Josh Wilson, the Yak-55. Off to your left, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to depart in just a couple of minutes will be Herb and Ditto, world's only smoke ring aerobatics. They're going to demonstrate a simulated carrier takeoff to your left down there, lifting off at 65 knots, and an immediate turn away from the aircraft carrier. They'll be flying on the 1,425 horsepower Curtiss Wright engine. This is the Navy version of the D-28. The Air Force also flew this as a trainer, known as the T-28A model. This is the C model. This particular aircraft, of course, has the tail hook on board for landing aboard the carrier as used by the United States Navy. Meanwhile, Josh Wilson high above us in the Yak-55. Beautiful aerobatic maneuvers in that airplane. And from the right with the smoke on, once again, Josh Wilson in the Yak. Right on up over the top. Emmelman maneuver. created by a World War II German Luftwaffe pilot known as Max Immelmann. It was a method used to reverse course while still attaining additional altitude. Pilots today still call it Max Immelmann, and it was originated in World War I. Pulling some hard G's there is Josh Wilson in the Yak-55. Enormous power for this Czechoslovakian airplane, the Yak-55. Edge pass there using a lot of top rudder on the Yak-55 is Josh Wilson showing you the top platform view with the knife edge pass. Last pass coming up, and then we'll be ready for Herb and Ditto. This wind, we'll see how the smoke rings work, but this is the only aerobatic performance smoke ring aircraft and pilot flying the circuit today. Very nice wing wag from the inverted wave back up there to Mr. Josh Wilson in the Yak-55. Nice job, Josh. Beautiful wheel landing by Josh Wilson in the Yak-55. Notice the extended landing gear on that makes room for that big prop out front of that engine aboard the Yak-55.